Getting pregnant. Oh my God, my husband wanted a baby so bad. We have a 4-year-old. And so when our son turned 2, he was ready. But I wasn't. I was only 28 and I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait mainly because at such an early age, I became a salon owner of a 2-story building, which was so demanding of me. At 24, I had 3 BGE bills, so my lifestyle wasn't that of a normal 24-year-old. So for me, my last year of my 20s, I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. Whether it was wake up and go to a different state, or whether it was to wake up and go get ice cream. I wanted the responsibility to be not as much, not as demanding as it would be to have another child. So I asked my husband if we could wait until I turned 30, and which we did. My birthday, we went away. We went to Cabo, had an amazing time. We worked on having a baby there. I came back home, and to my amazement, 3 weeks later, I was pregnant. The excitement I felt, and just being pregnant, and the excitement I had to even tell my husband was grand. I can't even express the moment you become pregnant, the moment you look at that pregnancy test and it reveals that you're expecting. I think in life, not many things change you right away. But once you find out that you're having a baby, in that moment you become different. It's life-changing. And so I took the test. I didn't tell my husband until the next day because I wanted to surprise him. So with me having the salon, I'm always using his toolbox. He has a toolbox currently that has no tools inside. I have a screwdriver at the salon, a drill in my truck. He has nothing. So I went out, I purchased a toolbox, and in the toolbox I put all baby items. So I put baby lotion, wipes, diapers, anything that you would need primarily for a newborn. So when he opened it, he was surprised, had no idea what was going on until he saw the pregnancy test inside. And once he saw the test and revealed pregnant, he began to cry. And for me, words can't describe how exciting it is to be sharing life with someone who is just as excited as you are. To be sharing life with your partner, your life partner. I want you to truly understand how excited we were to be having a baby. We were thrilled. Our first appointment together would be on my son's birthday, would be on Gerald's 4th birthday. That morning for me, even that night before, but that morning for me, I was so overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with knowing that 4 years ago on that date, God blessed me with this full of life, talented, well-behaved, when he wants to be kid. I was just so excited, but then I also had life inside of me. So I was excited to celebrate my 4-year-old, but even more excited to just know that we were going for the first time to hear a baby's heartbeat. We were going for the first time in many ways to feel that connection. I don't know who was more excited, me or my husband. Once we got to the hospital, we both kind of got quiet and just we're trying to mask our excitement. We went in for the doctor's visit, and you know that everyone sitting around you is here for the same thing. So, you sit around in the lobby and you talk to everyone, and I'm not really showing, but you have women who are 7 months, 9 months, and 6 months, and everyone's talking about their bellies and their ordeals and what they're experiencing and what they're going through. And you're just excited. It's just a joy you have just to be carrying life. I don't know, you're just like it's like a cloud that you just ride. It's not even cloud 9, it's higher than that. It's just a wave that you just ride and you don't come down from it. And so they called us back and we walked back, and it started bringing back memories of my son. And when I had him, we were getting married, we were moving, I had the salon, there was so much going on. So at this point in my life, I decided I would slow down for this baby. I would take my time at life. I wouldn't have as many demands on me. And so we were walking back, and I'm rubbing my belly, and I'm holding my husband's hand, and we're so excited. And we get into the room, and everything just feels so right. I'm so excited about it. So they begin to give me the ultrasound, and I'm excited. I'm looking into my stomach, and I'm gazing up, looking into the flat screen, just waiting to see that dot. At 6 weeks, you don't see much, but I'm excited to just see the glimpse of what will soon be our baby. And she's feeling around and she's looking around, and we're not really seeing anything. And so I look at my husband, I look at the tech, I look at my husband, I look at the screen, talk to God real fast, like, okay, what's going on? We don't feel anything. I don't see anything. So she turns the lights on and says, well, maybe you're too early and I'll call in the doctor. She turns the lights on and she says, we'll give you a more thorough exam. And so the doctor comes in and they're giving me a more thorough exam, and the mood in the room is extremely uncomfortable. My husband is just gazing, looking a little puzzled. The tech has no expression. And so now I'm just laying here and I'm wanting everyone around me, someone to say something, but everyone's just quiet. So the tech leaves out, they finish the ultrasound, the doctor turns the lights on and says, just like this, either one of three things: you've miscarried, you're pregnant in your tubes, or you're not that far along. And I think with each suggestion of what happened, I died a little bit each time. The thought of even not being pregnant frightened me. Words can't describe what you feel when you go into a visit to hear your baby's heartbeat, and you are left not only not hearing a heartbeat, but with not even a sign of the baby. And so what they told me was they saw a sac but no baby. And so I'm taking all of this in and I'm doing pretty well. I'm understanding what they're saying. They're suggesting that maybe I'm not as far as I think I am, and giving me so many possibilities, but after it all, telling me to get blood drawn. And as I'm leaving out, you now have to walk back through this lobby where there's so many women filled with joy about their pregnancies, and where I once sat on that same couch and excited to see this ultrasound and get the sonogram of my baby, I'm leaving here empty-handed with no picture, no hope really, or no sign of just anything. You're leaving there really feeling hopeless. And I silently lost it, meaning I was just filled with so many emotion. The thought of just knowing that everything that I wanted in my life, I kind of calculated it out. I kind of had control of everything that I've done thus far. But this situation, I had no control over. There's no baby. I just couldn't understand. Words, nobody could tell me. I mean, I cried like a newborn baby. I could not believe that I was not having a baby. I remember driving and crying. It was like I was driving with no windshield wipers and it was pouring down raining. I remember not really visibly being able to see, but just driving and just crying and driving and crying. And I remember one of my friends called and she asked me what was wrong, and I began to tell her, but I couldn't. Saying it also hurt. Saying that we went to get a sonogram and there was no baby, it was just like I was being stung by bees over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm so thankful that I have praying friends, because in the moment that I said that to her, she began to pray. And in those moments, looking back, I'm so thankful for, and not many people saw me or felt me when I was in my lowest, but the three people that did, I'm so thankful that all three of them decided to pray. Pulling up to Five Guys with my car in drive, with my foot on the brake, and I just closed my eyes and I began to pray so hard. And just in that moment, I needed peace. I needed understanding, because I had decided honestly back on the ultrasound bed that I was not going to work for at least a month. I didn't want to talk to anybody for at least 2 months. I didn't want to do anything for 3 months. So I had already counted myself out into 2015. I had already decided that I wasn't going to do anything. I didn't want to motivate anybody. I was just mad. It was just this fire that I had inside of me. I was just pissed off. Like nothing that anybody could say to me could ever, I was just done. I had just counted myself completely out and didn't tell anybody, but mentally I had decided, just forget everything. I don't want to do anything. And so when I got in the car driving to Five Guys and pulling up, I remember saying to God that I just don't want to feel this way. I don't want to go into a depression. And my opinion on depression is just this, that people go into that place because in the midst of it being really bad, they didn't call on God. And so I knew for me that no therapist could fix the situation. no friend could really fix it. And I truly knew that just having a really intimate relationship with God, that only He could do it. And so I prayed, and never did I ask Him why. I just wanted to understand my purpose in it, because I knew in that moment that it was greater than me. And I just wanted God to like fix me right now, fix my mind, because I don't want to be that person off for a month, talking to nobody for 2 months, and forgetting the world for 3. That wasn't who I was. That wasn't who He created me to be. And so even in the darkest hour, I wanted to trust Him. And many people, I think, in that moment forget who He is and what He's capable of. And so I knew that if I preached that to so many people, you gotta trust God, I knew I had to do it myself. And so He pulled me out. You know, I closed my eyes, and if you can just imagine closing your eyes, filled with so much anxiety and anger and just frustration, and just truly seeing God and Him saying, I'm here, just come to me, the tears dried. And that may sound so cliche, but it's not until you actually lose a life, meaning when people are, once we come into this world, come into the world, we're going to all die, and that's to be expected. But when you become pregnant, you don't expect life to die inside of you. So to actually be healed in that moment, and all that anger and anxiety and frustration and pain that I had within myself, for it to truly go away, in that moment I knew that this miscarriage was bigger than me. I knew that there was something greater in store. I knew that God was telling me, just not right now, and that my time will come. But in this moment, I need for you to help so many women who have gone through such heartache and such pain from receiving a miscarriage that it brings on your life, that He needed me to help heal those people. And so in that moment, I looked at my miscarriage as being purposeful. I looked at it as being my mission to serve Him. And when He revealed to me that I need you to be a healer, I took that and became proudful of it, because I know that God only trusts His strongest soldiers to do His hardest work. And for me, that was extremely hard. I drove home, well, I went and got the Five Guys, and then I drove home. And when I drove home, the drive there and back was totally different. I was no longer crying. I was no longer angry. I no longer had anxiety. It was amazing to me to be healed in that moment. And people think that God's not a quick healer. And for me to have gone through that, and in 24 hours, to not even 24 hours, but and just from morning to night, to feel the way that I did, and knowing of such a great loss that I experienced, I wanted to call people, and I began to call people and tell them, you know, hey, I went to go get the ultrasound today, but there wasn't the baby, but guess what God did? You know what I mean? I was so excited to show His will in my life, to show and have a testimony, not days later, but in that same day. Because how often do you go through the fire and be in the fire and see what God has in store for you and to execute it? And so I prayed that prayer over my life. Not that I think I was fully ready for it, but I wanted to always know what God had in store for me and be ready to achieve it in that moment. Not to look back 6 months later and say, oh, I get why I went through that. I wanted to get it, and I got it. And so I got home, I shared with my husband. He probably thought I had lost my mind, because this person who had been crying their eyes out all day has come back home with a hot dog and french fries talking about, well, I'm okay. And he looked at me and was like, okay, if you say you're okay, you're okay. But I knew even then that only time would truly show him that I was okay. Days after, I began to talk to people. And I would say, if I've talked to 20 women, 16 out of those 20 women have experienced miscarriages. And one of the most powerful was, in talking to my friend, I won't say her name, but she had a miscarriage 6 years prior. And in telling her my story, she says to me, you've healed me. And when she said that, it was confirmation, because she had no idea what God revealed to me, that He wanted me to be a healer. And being able to heal somebody who had suffered such a great loss 6 years ago, and not until the moment of hearing my story where they healed, I knew then that I had to make this documentary to help so many women who received such awful news. After the miscarriage, your healing comes from within. Only, in my opinion, can you heal yourself. People do not understand what it feels like unless you've gone through it. For me, it was the last thing I had on my mind. From being as healthy as I am, I would have never thought that life would not exist and go healthy inside of me. So if I was able to heal myself and call upon God to fix me right away, fix my mental standpoint, fix me physically, fix me spiritually, then you can do the same thing. I think that too long we harbor those emotions inside. We kill ourselves with the thought of something that we've done. You haven't done anything. Just know that God has a purpose for you, and even though He has a purpose, it's sometimes painful, but through that pain and through that fire, He wants you to see Him. And so I saw Him. I experienced it just a week and a half ago, and I sit before you today just wanting to be a testament, wanting to just show you how great God truly is.